And I think our guests can tell from your accent, you not only live in Ireland, you are Irish. You're from Ireland.
Yeah. I was born in County Louth. I live in County Offaly in the middle of nowhere. So if anybody wants to find my house, just get a map of Ireland, look for the middle of nowhere, and I'll wave.
That the Please Stop Coughing tea is in the mug with the Irish Wolfhound.
Yes.
And the Irish coffee is in the mug.
I was a poet at one point. I haven't worked in poetry in a long time. So I used to get up on stage and inflict my poetry on people.
That's a great word.
I love that.
And, going right, because I'm an old man now, I'm in my 50s now, and going right back into the early 90s, I used to get up on stage and read this terrible, angsty, awful, bloody poetry. And, and when I look back now, it was god-awful, dreadful stuff.
I think you may be the only poet in history who has admitted that poets.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
That's
100%,
hilarious.
Yeah. I've burned it all since,
Very nice.
I enjoyed this reading in part because I actually lived in Ireland, not far outside of Dublin, for 6 months. And as I mentioned, my oldest son was born at the Rotunda, the world's oldest maternity hospital.
That's right, correct, yeah. And Rotunda's mentioned in the books, by the way.
The Rotunda is?
Yeah, I know I trained as a classical historian and I worked as an anthropologist, but these days I'm actually an academic. I'm an architectural historian, so the books are just filled with old architecture from Dublin, and that's a recurring theme through all my books. As readers will get to know them.
Focusing on architecture.
Yeah, it's something that's a great passion of mine.
Yeah, it's that was a very, very weird experience. I was 20 and I had no experience being pregnant or giving birth. And so in the United States, and I should say that's a good thing, some people at 20 are very experienced with that. In the United States, we have kind of one room, you go in and you do labor delivery and stay there for the rest of your stay, all in your same, usually private room. Yeah. And in the Rotunda, again, do you happen to remember the year that it opened?
I think it was 1810.
Oh, 1810. Okay, I thought it was the 1700s, but you probably know better than I do.
It could well be 1780, 1790, but
yeah. So somewhere in that era, and so it was all they do is maternal care. The what do you call it?
Prenatal.
When you're pregnant. I can't. Prenatal, it's early in the morning here. And so I would go in for my prenatal visits, and there would be literally a line of like 200 women all sitting in a row, and there would be about 6 rooms, and they'd go in, give you your literally like 3-minute check, and everybody in the row would move up, And then for delivery, they had a delivery room, and I was in awful labor, won't go into details. And my husband's like screaming for a nurse, we're 2021, we didn't know what was happening. And the nurse comes in and says, in an Irish brogue, so you should probably say this for me, the delivery room is full. You can't have the baby now.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
you inconvenience us.
I'm like, I know.
Keep it to yourself.
I know I'm 20. I know I'm young and stupid and inexperienced, but even I know babies don't work that way. So, and then they literally have like this almost circular room with 6 bays, and there's
You've been in that?
Yeah. Oh wow, that was And again, it was my first experience, so I had no idea how different this was. And the doctor literally just went from bay to bay, you know, catch a baby,
With a
move on,
catcher's mitt, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
catch a baby.
That was during the great boom of Dublin, when Dublin was expanding. The hospital was built because the population was growing at such a level.
Okay.
And the idea of that is they could it was literally a production line for babies. They would walk around and just deliver. And there was a point where 90% of all the people in Dublin were born in the rotunda. If I turn the right way, you can see the original painting for the cover is there behind me on one side, and just the painting. I'm not sure how good the camera is on this. That's the painting for The Italian Lady, another book of mine, which is set in the west of Ireland, and that's the painting for the Upstairs Cat books, which are the younger reader children's books. So that's one of those as well. The painting I took up during COVID, having never painted in my life.
Nice.
And I'm sure you know that illustrators charge a small fortune to do covers for you.
Oh, yes.
And I discovered I could do
did
it
them all
myself for
myself.
basically next to nothing. Yeah, so,
I'm just seeing
So,
Chris. None of Chris's paintings are nearby. I was hoping I could grab one. He does some painting too.
Some oil painting. One of them ended up on one of my books,
Yeah.
which was nice.
Yeah.
so
Go ahead.
No problem. Yeah. So this is from Doctor Vantastic. It's about a young bored kid growing up in a small flat in Dublin who gets a part-time job to the galaxy's only interdimensional vet. So this is just a little scene from book one. Book two is actually written and will be out at Christmas, by the way. Just to let you know that.
Okay.
So the doctor held up to the screen a small black box with loose wires. The connector in exchange for my friends and the frog. No deal. That frog is worth millions to us. That's like thousands, only twice as much. I see, said the doctor calmly. I suppose appealing to your better nature would be pointless. This is my better nature, growled Buzz. You leave me no choice. The doctor allowed the camera to follow him across the deck of the ship, where he opened a small waste disposal airlock, dropped the connector in and pressed flush. That was stupid, Doctor, because now you don't have it and we can get it, yelled Buzz in excitement. Oh, dearie me, said the doctor. What a fool I've been. The view screen went blank. Dr. Vantastic whistled a cheerful tune and slowly descended beneath the floor of the control room of the fire drake. What are they doing? Asked Dylan, as he and Ten Sheet watched the gang of poachers drift out from the airlock of their ship and spread out in the space between it and the fire drake. I think they're looking for something. It seems to be a search pattern, replied Ten Sheet. They are looking for something, said Dr. Vantastic. Told you, Ten Sheet added without looking away from the porthole. Doctor! He looked down, and at the deck of the cargo hold, he saw the doctor's head popping out from a rough circular hole in the metal. Ten Sheet spun around. I knew you'd save us, but how? He saw the shovel by the doctor's head. Oh, easy. I dug a tunnel between the two ships. Bloody hard work it was, too. Good job those morons out there aren't looking for this. The doctor held up the connector. Dylan dropped into the tunnel behind the doctor and Ten Sheet. He had to be careful because he had the painter frog wrapped in his white T-shirt, which was now a bright blue T-shirt. This is impossible, said Dylan, as he crawled through the soil and rock of the tunnel. It is, called Dr. Vantastic from front. I must add that to the list of impossible things I've done today. Dylan followed Ten Sheet and the doctor out of the tunnel and onto the control room of the fire drake. Dylan looked back at the hole of the metal floor, then out to the void between the two ships on the view screen. Better fill that in before they notice, said Ten Sheet, grabbing a shovel and throwing dirt from a large pile back into the hole. This is really impossible, stated Dylan. You keep saying that. I'm not sure you know what it means, smiled the doctor. Let's get out of here and get that little frog somewhere safe. Dylan was flabbergasted. But, Doctor, you can't dig a tunnel between two ships in space. I know that, but they don't, so it's fine. The doctor smiled and never explained any more.